the purest tasting water on Earth, born from untouched lands, naturally filtered through ancient lava rock. You are what you drink. Be a force of nature. Icelandic glacial. The purest tasting water on Earth, born from untouched lands, naturally filtered through ancient lava rock. You are what you drink. Be a force of nature. Icelandic glacial.
Well, hello and welcome to the fifth round. Top board right now we have Itanipuja with white against the surprising leader Lukas Jarmula from Poland. You see them here. And we're well into the game. Move at 25. Let's have a look at how we got here. Looks like it was a Petrov defense. E4, e4, knight f3, knight f6, knight takes on e5. d6, knight takes on e4, and now this line with c4, which I've seen people play. I think Owen Jones has played this on occasion. It's the fourth most popular move after d4 and the kind of modern knight c3. And I guess the idea is to discourage d5 in some way. Bishop e7, d4, castles, bishop d3, knight goes back. And white can, claim a little bit of space, but as usual in the Petrov, black is very, very solid. Bishop comes to g6, we have a trade. This position has been reached a few times. Rosenthal has played like this with black. A very strong player. Rook e1, rook e8, and d5. 2 games with this still. Knight b8, and bishop f4 is the first new move of the game. At this point, both players had spent about 20 minutes. The knight reroutes to d7. a5, typical move to set up this square, the c5 square. White intends to double here on the only available open file, but first he has to protect the pawn. a4, trying to undermine the queen side, queen d7. It looks kind of more like an elegance defense than the Petrov at this stage. Black a little bit cramped, but very solid. Bishop g5 was played. Bishop f8, offering some trades. And now we're reaching the current position where we started looking, and now we have this threat, and black dealt with it by playing f5 here. Pawn takes, queen takes, queen takes, pawn takes. So black has taken on this weakness, but managed to trade some pieces. So the question is, can black defend? So for the moment, move like rook e7 could be annoying. This pawn is hanging. How to defend it? Probably go for a counter attack. Maybe rook a3, trying to hit this one. And actually not super easy to counter this move, because rook e3 we have perhaps f4, and this is too passive. Probably white will need to get active as well. Maybe rook e7, maybe first rook e8 check and then rook e7. Definitely it's white who is for choice though. I don't like these pawns. And it looks like he might be able to win one of them. We already have a draw on board 2, where Alexander Fier and Kukesh had a rather quick day, and still these bishop b5 Sicilians, we're seeing a lot of those, have kind of taken over for the open Sicilian. e5, we had a game very similar to this earlier in the tournament. Queen c1, bishop f5. I believe this is close to being known. Okay, there are 2 games in this position, not very high profile, but in both of them black played queen b6. Here queen d7 was played, knight b3, f6, we have trades, and looks like the position simplified a bit too much for both players' taste, and the draw was agreed. Let's have a quick look at the other top boards. Steingrimsson against Pragnaland. I want to see the opening. It was an Nimso Indian, Queen c2, the main line. Castles, a3, bishop takes c3, f3, b6, e4. So white has the solid center, but slightly behind the development. So black tries to strike here with b5, and it's actually the first new move of the game. So b5 tries to undermine this, and if white were to take, we can start taking on d5, chipping away at the center. So white takes on e6 first, and then on b5, and we have this thematic move here, d5. So black is black is leading in development, so it's in his favor to open up the position. If white is given too much time to consolidate, he will have the bishop pair and better position. So black tries to open things up. Knight f4, bishop to d2. We got trade on e6, bishop to c4, and now an exchange sacrifice by Pragnaland. Takes on f3. Steingrimsson accepts, and now this in-between move, pawn to f2. So the upside of this is that white can't castle. He has to move the king, and he can't take the pawn obviously because of the knight check. So most likely he will move the king, perhaps to f1, and we will regain the piece. So what's the count here? Black has, a pawn for the exchange, and a pretty strong outpost for his knight on d5. So definite conversation, and then he can try to use perhaps the f-file, get the queen out, and shoot the rook over to f8. So this might be a very interesting game. And we have on board 4 Hans Niemann against Hjörvar. And this game was finally an open Sicilian, and Hjörvar plays the Taimanov, which he used to play a lot in the past. It looks like he's back to his old favorite opening. Knight f6, g4. So an early queen trade, I believe. People are doing a lot of this queen g3 stuff, which is considered, I think, slightly better for white. Resembles a French a little bit. g5, knight d7, long castles, e5. Rook h4, bishop e7. Looks like Hans might be thinking about an attack on h7, but first he has to take care of the threat of taking on f4, which would undermine g5. So here he played bishop d3, which takes care of the problem because we can take with jack if we take on f4. So Hjörvar played h6. utilizing the pin, and now rook to h2. So now we have threatened this pawn, and Hjörvar needs to deal with that. I don't think we want to. Well, maybe you can flick and take on g5 and e4, or e4 immediately. Either one, but it looks a little bit scary. So I think Hans is for choice here. Brandon Clark against Adiban. Adiban with black, and he's got an attack going here. Let's see the last few moves. This was a Caro-Kann. Unusually strong center for black, given that it was a Caro-Kann. And here it brings the pieces closer to the king and plays knight h4 check. So the first obvious question is, what happens if we take this knight? Play g takes h4. I guess we do something like this, with nasty threats. The nastiest of them would be something like bishop h3 double check and then bishop g2 mate. And taking loses material, so probably we can't take this knight. So yeah, this looks just bad. And if you go here, let's just look at the most forcing move first. We give this check, we take, if you don't want to lose material, take. And bring the other knight over, maybe here, threatening this. So you might win material because like queen e2, knight h4. Maybe the best you can do is just to take and lose the exchange, because if you go here, yeah, maybe I can just move the queen and still give this check. Move like queen g4, maybe even queen f5, or rook g8. It looks very good for black. And this check is incoming. And this bishop is lurking here. It's a pretty good piece. Meanwhile, white's pieces are pretty useless here at the moment. Okay, before we look at Simon, we're hearing that people are interested in board 56, which is Anna Kramling against Anand. Jose Grunfeld, Anna with white. And black looks relatively fine here. You can attack the center later with f6. The bishops are strong. But now things are starting to look a little bit dangerous. Knight g5. There's some danger here. There's some potential danger over here as well. So this is the current position. And there's also always this lurking, because rook here we can just take, or maybe start with d7, and it's a big problem. Big problem for black. So it looks like you can't actually protect the pawn. But then what can you do? So if you move this one, then probably d7 still. Can't go here because of this, so you'd have to go here. And then queen c6. Yeah, this looks pretty good. Looks pretty good for Anna. But we have Simon here on board 7. And he has black against the Raunak Sadvani. We have them here. So that's the playing hall. Simon with black. Looks fairly solid. Good central control. With these light squares especially, which he has occupied, and the knight is back up. And he's starting to become aggressive here on the king side with a g5 thrust. White's last move though, knight c4, is hitting a pawn here on b6, so we have to do probably something about that. Either do something about that or go for an attack. So Simon thinking about it. Let's see. I've got one thing here. Copy this. Let's see. Where's my not here? Oops. There we go. Okay. So how are we liking Simon here? Kind of like his position. It's also a type of position that I feel like he's good at, and yeah, it was actually a touch which I figured. He knows how to attack in these positions if the opportunity arises. Okay, it was a stonewall transposed from a classical. Then he breaks with c5, and his position has actually been reached once before. There White played queen c2, but Sadvani played rook e1. Here we see Simon get the d5 pawn in, and eventually he's getting the d5 square. Okay, Simon took a d4, and Sadvani takes back with a pawn, which is slightly surprising. Thought he would maybe take with a knight, because now, well, this could be a potential weakness, but I guess it's countered by the strong square on e5. So probably this is dynamically balanced. Abhijit Gupta, the two-time winner. Looks like a rather quiet position against Irene Sukandar. White obviously has the better bishop. Well, black is second a pawn here. We go back few moves. Bishop to d4, queen b4, and queen g5. So black could have gone here, which is a little bit passive, but instead she goes f6. I guess he's intending bishop takes, and then to play queen back, and then we take this pawn. So probably it's hanging in the balance, this one. I want to have a look at my friend Björn Thorfinnsson. He's playing here with white against Abhimanyu Misra. And he looks statically he looks worse because of this weakness here. Black has this firmly under control, so I think I like black's position here. And on board 13 we have Erik Rosen with white against Thomas Bjertsen, and Thomas had a very nice finish in his game yesterday, mating with 2 knights, which you can actually look up. It was very nice. We'll go to round 4. Let's see. So this one. Beautiful finish after rook 8 to a7, which you see here. He played the beautiful queen h7, which allows this beautiful checkmate, knight to g6. So very nice finish by Thomas yesterday. Let's see what's going on today against Erik Rosen. Board 13, here we go. So last move was rook c8 to c8 to c7. Queen is stuck defending this knight, so we can't really attack the pawn. The center looks quite good for white, solid center. And this was actually a London finally from Erik. He's not played it in the first 2 rounds. But here he goes for it, and queen b6. A little bit unusual, this early c6. And Erik gambits the pawn on b2, but black does not accept. Bishop takes, rook b1. Yeah, so white is getting slightly into element here, but maybe hard to take advantage of it. Okay, now we eliminate the bishop pair and we have a nice center. Queen a5 was played here to put pressure on the knight. b3, I guess, just to dominate some squares the knight can go to, avoid trades, and also get out of this line of fire. And now h4 is the last move by Rosen. I think he's very solid here, but what will happen, that remains to be seen. Okay, people are talking about Praka's game. It was very interesting with this exchange sacrifice. f2, here they went with king to e2, f takes e6 and bishop g5. People are talking about the move queen b8 and asking how hard is queen b8 to spot in Praka's game. Well, not super difficult. Makes huge sense just to unpin this guy, and on queen b8 we are attacking this pawn, which we could capture with check. Black's compensation actually looks quite nice. Yeah, I think you'll find this move definitely. It's also important to keep the knight unpinned, so we can always give this check. And how do we defend this one? For instance, a4. Now the knight can start to come in. Maybe jump here, maybe here. Put some pressure with the queen. Maybe knight e4 is the best move. Maybe something like queen b7 or queen e5, centralize the queen. Threat here, protect the knight, and the rook is ready to jump in. Looks like excellent compensation for Praka, maybe even more. And then, yeah, it was a very interesting start to this game. We had a very unusual position in the middle of the game. After e4, e5, we have 3 knight c6. Sorry, knight c3, knight f6, bishop c4, and black took on e4. The Frankenstein Dracula variation. Queen h5. Bishop goes to b3, and bishop e7. Here the main move is either knight f3 or taking the pawn on e5. But white played f4, a rare move, but has been played a few times by Johann Sebastian Christensen and Thomas Pearson. Johann has played the Reykjavik Open a lot. He's not playing this year, but Thomas Pearson is playing this year. Black took on f4, and white played d4, just like in the Pearson game. Castles, bishop takes f4, knight back to e8, rerouting the knight, which comes back to f6, queen f3, and d6. But this position is quite funny here. White has 3 pieces out, he's castled, and the queen out here on h5. But black has everything here on the 2 back ranks. Quite a funny setup. But what happened? So it looks like a lot of things have happened since this, and now black is claiming some space in the center with the pawns, finally getting the pieces out, and starting an attack on the queen side. Bishop to b1, intending, I guess, some stage to play c3, but black is starting to look very good here, and he did play c3 himself. Instead of taking the pawn, maybe you should have, I don't know, c3, b3. So this secures the queen side. This can no longer be taken, but this is not the best bishop I've seen in my life. So one wonders if black can now simply play for trades. Try to trade as many pieces as possible, and then simply play for an endgame where he's essentially a piece up with this guy here on b1. Somebody's saying would have found it, which means perhaps Praka did not find queen b8. Instead he played queen e8. Which is less logical because it doesn't immediately put pressure on this pawn. And people are saying a big time advantage to Eric. I mean, it looked nice, but I don't know. Maybe not a big time advantage. And he doesn't have a big time advantage either, so. But Eric looks good. Not gonna lie. Bragi Þorfarsson has already drawn. Just so whom Lohia 21.95. Peter Large has made a draw against Oleg Romanishyn. Let's see that one, d4. Yeah, okay. Quiet game. White probably happy with the draw here. We have some decisive results on the lower boards. Maybe I can see if there's some interesting positions. Okay, nothing that catches the eye, so to say. Let's see what Hans is doing against Hjörvar. He's doing a little bit too good for my taste. Let's see what happened after this h6 rook h2. Hjörvar played knight c5, intending to neutralize the bishop on d3, but of course he's giving up pawn on h6, wants to get the pawn on f4 back. But most likely white can win this pawn. The first rook h1, bishop g5, allowing the jack, but it's only one jack. But yeah, unfortunately, this is difficult to deal with. If you play rook f6, there's rook h8. But does that lose material? We can maybe play bishop b7 there. Maybe, I'm not sure. Anyway, he gives up the pawn here, and now things are starting to look a little bit bleak for Hjörvar here. He does have the bishop pair as compensation, but he's now down 2 pawns. So I'm not optimistic here on behalf of Hjörvar. Let's see if Itani Puya has made some progress on the first board. After knight g3, we did have the move rook to a3. And rook a3, rook e8, king h7 and h4. Don't think there's a mating net, so surely we are able to take on b3. Yeah, it looks like from the camera he took on b3. We should get that move in any time now. Rook takes b3. And what is white intending? He could have tried to win some pawns, but now maybe he has to find some play, because black is trying to win a pawn here. This knight is hanging, so we don't have time to take on f5. So we either have to move the knight g5 check, or protect it, king g2. And no other moves. This could potentially become rather dry quickly. But let's say something like this. Maybe we could try this, takes and then take here. So what happens if we just clean house here? You can either take this or, oops, take this or play h5 and take this. So what's going on here? I'm not sure this is good for white. Maybe f6. Or maybe this 95 back. So yeah, so black would be up a pawn in this variation, so wondering what he's intending here. So rook takes b3 was the last move. Did he play king g2? I'm gonna refresh the board. Yeah, he played king g2, okay. Okay, looks rather dry though, to be honest. Let's see what Anna is doing on board 56. Black is still thinking after knight g5. Einar Gregersen from the Faroe Islands, rated 1822, so a good job by him being on the demonstration boards. We got Tinna Kristín against Stefan Bergson. So what's going on here? Tinna is down a piece. What happened? Yeah, she saw a chance to sacrifice and she took it. Knight g4. Stefan defended. Knight takes e5 and queen a6. Now is this worth a piece? I'm not sure, but it looks scary. Maybe bring the knight back. Try to blockade some lines, and black needs to be careful. Needs to be really careful. So Simon, what's up on board 6? Simon Williams, my man. My boy. He played the move f4 after trading on d4. That's what we saw. Let's go back a few moves. Where are we here? So trading on d4. He played rook to b7 to defend the pawn on b6. Knight c to e5 and now f4. This might prepare at some stage to play g4 and f3. Try to make white's pieces bad. Most likely that's not the best course of action, as it also closes down the attack for black. White is probably more worried about black capturing on g3. So what's the time situation? 30 minutes for Renak Sandvani. 17 for Simon. Things could start to heat up pretty soon in this one. Things could be heating up. Let's see what Prakov. Yeah, Hans has finished. Hans Niemansen. Sub 2 pawns. Looks like Hero did not want to fight after. Yeah, we had this position, rook f1, king g4, bishop g8, rook to f4. Is he just winning stuff here? King h5, rook a4, hitting more pawns. Bishop h7, knight f4 check. And I guess we're going to lose the pawn on d5 to discovery. And then there's not much left to fight for. So good win by Niemann. Not a good day at the office for Hjörvar here. Thank you. Oh, Blair, thank you. Yeah, I'll make sure to check in on Simon a little bit. So what's going on here? Queen e8 by Pragnaland. Queen b8 was definitely better, just because of the tempos, the threat, and the ability to make threats on every move. 94 next. So a little bit unusual that he did not find it. Queen c4 and rook to d8. But still, definite compensation for Praga. And probably this pawn is not a good idea to eat up. There could be a tactic such as rook d2, when we can't take because of the fork. So we'd have to go to f1, which probably should have in the first place. Then we can introduce the queen somehow. We just need to get to this square, so maybe queen here, maybe better to cover c8, so maybe queen here, cover this. This looks just very bad. So I doubt that he will take this pawn. Very much doubt it. I think he took on f2. Yeah, he took on f2. And now the question is, can black introduce his pieces, get some threats going, try to use the dodgy positioning of the king? Okay, we'll keep an eye on this one. Very interesting game. People keep wondering about Anna's game, and they're wondering if the move rook c2 is very hard to find. Why is it hard to find? I mean, this is pinned. Why not get out of the pin with tempo? So that's what it does. Not hard to find at all. And I think her position looks great. Now she can start taking this, start pushing the pawn. She should win this one. It's not every day you beat Anand, right? It's even V Anand. It's even VI Anand. But then the Ganesh breaks it up. I once played against A. Karpov. Like, I think his name was not Anatoly then. I think it was Andrei Karpov. It's an IM actually. Strong player. But if people ask, I'll just say I drew against A. Karpov. Yeah. But of course not the real one. Not the real deal. Not the final boss. So Itani Puya, what's going on here? He did play after knight takes c4, knight c5 check, king g6 and f4. Is he trying to find some mating net? Or is he just trying to bail out? Because let's say black goes for the pawn. We can at least wait, this happened? I was going to say that, okay, something's going on here. But I thought, if you went for this pawn, that white would at least have a perpetual. First of all, you walk into, no, you don't walk into mate. So maybe it's not a perpetual. No, this is mate, what's wrong with me? So you have to go to h6. First I thought this was mate, but the pawn is hanging. But he has taken on h3, let's get back to the game. At the 93 check, he actually took it. Rook takes e3, and immediately played h5. King f6 takes, and it's going to take on h5, and it's going to be up a piece. So why couldn't he have gone to f6? Is that some kind of mate? Ah, okay, you get on a light square anyway. Sorry, you get on a mind square anyway. So this would win the rook back as well. Oh, nice geometry. So he's going to win on the piece. but black has 2 pawns. I think the first order of business is to play c6. Trade the pawns. And then sack the bishop for this one. And if that happens, we are going to get some endgame knowledge for white. And actually, in the pop quiz yesterday, one of the questions was, what is the Trotsky line? And the Trotsky line indicates where black's pawns can be, so that the ending is winning. I think it's something like, no, it's like this. Oh, it's not this, it's not that far, maybe, yeah, here probably. Yeah, this. So the black pawns can't be further than this, so that the position is winning. We might get to see that. I mean, yeah, why not c6 and then just go for the pawn immediately. Maybe bishop h6. Maybe bishop h6 is a move. Because if you take, and I'll take this, and then c6 next move. There's nothing you can do. Can you go knight d8 c6? Knight takes, no, you can't. Nope. So here we would get the desired trait. The only thing I was worried about is if we can take this with a knight, but we can play d5 in time. Or just if knight takes, we take this. So this would simplify too much and be a draw. So bishop h6 probably draws immediately. Unless black is trying to win, which I sincerely doubt. People are of course interested in Eric Rosen's game, and they're thinking he has blundered. Let's go back here. Play rook e2 and queen takes c4. Ah, yeah. So for a while this pawn hasn't been available because of the knight hanging here. But Eric blundered here, rook e2. So when you don't really, look out for this move, you maybe forget about it. It looks like you forgot, and now simply queen takes e4 hits the rook on b1. So it looks like a very unfortunate move by Eric, and now he's just in big trouble. Just retreat the knight, and there's no good knight discovery with this one. Yeah, it was very unfortunate. Haven't checked Vignir. He's trying to keep his GM norm chances alive. But Fantinel Thibault is playing quite strong here, it seems to me. And he wants to target the pawn here on a6. This could be tricky. Yeah, it looks like white is just winning a pawn, and it will be difficult to defend, but Vignir has been defending well. The one time that he was in trouble against Sadvani. So, yeah, Johan had a big missed chance yesterday against Mats Andersen, where he could have promoted to a bishop. Quite spectacular. Yeah, we didn't see it on stream yesterday, so let's actually have a look at that. I think we could do like this. Oops, no we can't apparently, so we go back. spectacular things I've seen in this tournament. So the critical position was here. Queen c6, Johan played e7 when he lost much of his advantage and eventually the game was drawn. But he could have played a very nice move here, Queen f7. Now some people might say, well, that's not too hard to find. We go here and you can't really play King f8 because of knight g6. So I guess you play here and then we make a queen, right? But that would be a mistake because guess what? Queen g2. You have to take and it's stalemate. But Johan could have played the winning move. Same thing happens when we make a rook. It's going to be stalemate. Also black will try to win by taking. Let's actually wonder if it might even be tricky, like here, and then this move is coming. Might even still be good for white. So I'm wondering if in this position threatening this, so probably black needs to play something like, well, if he needs to play g5 then maybe you can win. But the bottom line is the winning move was d takes e8 bishop, the only winning move. And now it's completely over. The rook is protected. Immediate threat is this and mate, and the king is going to be safe from checks. Knight is covering this, so h2 or g2 will always be safe. So black is just completely lost. This would have been amazing, but unfortunately Johan missed it. He told me after the game he saw the stalemate idea, but I guess just promoting to a bishop didn't occur to him. So Jarmula has found this bishop h6 move, and should he take on f4 immediately or play c6? Probably no rush to take, so I'll play c6 first. Yeah, I wonder if he waits or if he risks it. The endgame with two knights is very difficult to win, but he might not want to risk it because it is winnable, and he would suffer for a long time. But it's definitely in the back of his head to go for this. Yes. On board 8 we have a player we haven't seen before, Julian Martin, 2385. He's playing against Max Warmerdam. And this knight looks fairly annoying for white to deal with, but it's being covered by this bishop, although it's not an ideal place for this bishop, I guess. Thank you to Chesspionage. Thank you. And if you guys have some games or people you want to look at, by all means, let me know. My friend Björn is still relatively solid here against Abhimanyu Mishra. Although, like I said earlier, statically, black should be better just because of the isolate the pawn. It's a difficult position to play, but don't think anything too drastic will happen too quickly. Yeah, I was gonna check out Johan. He's playing a 1900 rated player, Cyril Sigamoni. I wonder what Siga means. Sigamoni. 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 Okay, Johan looks very solid. Some states he will play for, I guess, pushing this pawn, creating a pass pawn. Yeah, he's up a pawn actually. If we count normal position, if there was a pawn on b2 or b3 for white, but there's no pawn, so Johan is up a pawn. So he will try to advance carefully his d pawn. Maybe reroute the knight to e6, although that takes a bit of time. But Johan should win this, just, yeah. Especially given his opponent's rating. And Peng Li Min and Matthias de Wachter have drawn. It's a very strange game where the bishop was, let's have a look at it. Well, the bishop was just completely toast on b1. So I'm wondering why they didn't play on further. Peng Li Min is 25-17, while Matthias de Wachter is 22-95. And Peng plays for onto the flag of Ukraine, which is somewhat surprising. Okay, king d1, why? Why was this game drawn so quickly? Because black just looks very good here. Okay, he's got. Why didn't he go for trades? Okay, white offered the draw. I mean, he's higher rated, but why would you give a draw here with this bishop on b1? You know, at some stage, I know it's tempting to, when you're playing a higher rated player, to accept a draw when it's offered, but come on, sometimes you have to try something. And what's the danger of playing on with this bishop, really? If white is offering, it's clear he's not happy about his position, as he shouldn't be with his bishop on b1. So Matthias de Wachter is letting his opponent off the hook. Is he? He's an IM. Peng Li Min. But rated 25-17, so probably he might need a norm. He might even be a GM elect. Who knows? Who knows? Hello, Andreas. Hello, Andreas. Yeah, baffling decision by black, to be honest. I mean, he's up to port 11, you know. Maybe he's thinking about norms or norm chances. But if you're chasing a norm, well, it's better to win than to draw, right? Not happy about this. Okay, let's go back to board 1. And yeah, can he like I said, it's tempting to take on f4. Very tempting, but maybe there are too many pawns. Maybe there are too many pawns. But is that a good or a bad thing? Let's say we do this. Knight takes f4, king here, knight here maybe. And we can just start giving away pawns, right? Let's go here maybe. I guess you have to. You don't have to take it. You can go here maybe. We start pushing. He takes and we push. So he needs to. The Trotsky line is dum 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 dum, right? So it's sufficient to blockade the pawn here on d3. So even if we can play this. I mean okay, it's white to move. For funsies, he takes this one. We go here, and he maneuvers, and I guess this is a table base position right now. Yeah, king f5. Is technically a loss, but it's prevented by the 50 move rule. White would need to play super accurately, and black would have to blunder to not allow the 50 move rule. It's probably most difficult with this pawn. So let's say we win it. Let's go here. Blah blah blah. Knight h takes f4. Yeah, so this the pawn is so far advanced that it actually takes, according to the table base, 130 something moves to win. So maybe he should just go for this. Try to sack the bishop and then just run with the pawns. Try to get as far as he can. Run, Forrest, run! Okay, let's go back to Pragnalanda, because yeah, that was a very interesting game. Thanks for pointing that out again. So what happened? After bishop takes f6, we got rook d8, here took an f2, rook d2, well probably rook d4 would have been stronger apparently. Kevin Winter happy his Everton finally won a game. Finally, a very important game, by the way. So this might be the one that saves them from relegation. They are now 4 points clear of Burnley, so it could be a vital win. So he plays queen a8, giving up this pawn and allowing queen c6. Of course, there was a mate threat on g2, so white had to block it. Do we have something now? People are talking a lot about Eric Rosen trying to make up for the lost pawn. Okay, Praka needs to keep the queens on. That was obviously a slip. Probably something like this with a threat, but can we survive another pawn? Maybe here, and we have to stay on this diagonal for white, so probably queen 3. But we covered this one, so now rook d1. Okay, definitely some dangers here after queen d8. After queen d8, white needs to find a good move. Funny how this pawn has been almost poisonous almost for the whole game. So quick look back at Jarmula. He's got 20 minutes to think about it, and I guess we'll see. Yeah, Manu, they're out of the Champions League definitely. So what is Eric doing? Eric, my man. What's going on? He's trying to make something happen here on the king side after he lost the pawn. Played queen g5, and yeah, trying to make something happen, but it's really hard to get going here. The rooks don't seem very useful on the e file. No target here. We can play h5 at some point, but just g5, and we haven't really accomplished a whole lot. and also h5, g5. You know, the knight is coming into f4. So doesn't look good for Eric. That was a huge pawn to lose here on e4. Huge pawn. Let's check in with Simon actually. Sport 7, right? No, but 6. So we had f4. And Satoani played g4. When Simon played h5. Naturally, the action seems to be on the king side. I'm getting a suggestion that b5 would have been a good move here. Switching over to the other side and, you know, trying to use these pieces on the queen side to bother white a little bit, but he went for h5 instead. Now Satoani took, pawn takes, and rook into c7 was the last move. This is a strange position. What happens if we just go for this pawn, for instance? Yeah, finally pushed Harry. Correct. We know he can't resist. So g4, what to do? Harry, throw Harry in the mix. So this looks most natural to me. I mean, why are we doing all this business? We must be trying to mate. So this pawn hangs. How does white deal with it? Well, he can get a pawn of his own here by taking on e6. And then we have to start calculating stuff. Can we take on h4, for instance? Maybe, probably not. Let's have a look for fun, since this is something that Simon would definitely calculate, but I don't think it's working. I think we just maybe even just take this bishop on b7, because this is only one check after it's covered by the knight, so nothing gonna happen. So, but of course we look at stuff like this. I mean, Simon has a famous game, I think it was against Wojtaszek, the classical Dutch, where he just sacked his rook on a8 and just completely mated the guy. Yeah, the thing is that Black's king is also quite exposed. It's true. True. Still, I think Queen h5 is the Simon move here. I think let's get the position updated. Have a quick look at Brandon Clark against. Yeah, we had this. We looked at this earlier, and we thought. Thought he might be winning. Let's see what happened. We had this one. King h1. Knight d4. Ah, this is hanging. So this is Ardeban's game. Took with the bishop. Knight h4, and the king starts running. Still looks good for Black, but feels like he could have done better at some stage. Okay, let's get back to Simon's board. He just played f3. Which is interesting. I'm gonna leave Simon's game on and take a short break. We'll be right back. Wow, we're back. It looks like a lot of things happened. Let's go back. G4, H5, Simon took, on G4, Rook C7, F3, and yeah, as I was walking past the board, I noticed that Simon gave up this rook on D8, and it turns out to be a pretty bad move. The rook takes C7, rook takes knight G5. Wow, threatening all kinds of nasty things. F3 takes, and queen H5. And there's simply no stopping the mate. I mean, it's not immediately mate, but okay, we're gonna make a queen, so. So what happens after a move like Rook C1 or Queen C1? Probably just 94 at the end. Okay, let's say Rook C1. Maybe you can start with 94 actually. Yeah. What happens here? Here. Okay, 94. Now we can't take because with queen, so we'd have to go here. I guess we can queen anyway, and it looks a lot like mate. We'd have to take it. King D3, King D1, King E3. I mean, worst case scenario, we're even starting to win material, but it should be made somehow. Queen D1. Maybe just F2 because white doesn't really have counterplay. So that was pretty. That was pretty cool. To be honest, no real clue what was going on here. Very complicated attack, but this is exactly where Simon excels. Exactly where, yeah, knight F7 probably might be a dubious one. So Simon took. Now, yeah, this turns out to be very bad. Simon took on C7, and then this fantastic move, knight G5. So what? Okay, let's say we try to keep things close. Not let the queen. Okay. Oh, sorry. Wow. Yeah, we just queen. We're just queening. It's a maiden 2. Wow. Knight G5. What a move. You might have missed knight G5. Knight G5. F3 trying to escape, but wow. Wowzers. Very well done indeed by Simon Williams. Good to see Simon in top form. This is exactly where we like to like his games going. It looks like Praka didn't break through. Let's have a look at the position we had after queen to c6, which was here. Praka did play queen d8. Stingerson made Luft, and of course Praka can take the perpetual here if he wants. It didn't just yet, played h6, but again it's on the cards to take the perpetual, and I guess he just didn't see any way to progress here. Okay, people are talking about Eric's game, like something might have happened there. I think he was basically toast earlier. It looks a lot better now. We had this position. So how did he? Okay, took on d5. I'm not sure Black needed to allow that, but okay, nothing wrong with it. Rook e3, Czechoslovakia, and is there anything wrong with g5? Why not g5? Will we take it, or? Yeah, we'll take it. That's a pretty nasty threat to just play h6. All of a sudden Black is invading that, so he had to take on h5. Now 91, rerouting the rook to g3. And Black needs to be careful. So threat here, so my these are going here, so probably have to play the king, probably king h7. And Eric is definitely kicking and screaming here. He's not going down without a fight. I like it, this is interesting, might keep an eye. Vigner is trying to draw a rook end game here. He might succeed. Depends on the evaluation of b2, rook b1, rook b3. Will we be able to get the pawns in time? Probably with best play. Let's check in on port 1, where I thought the endgame was very interesting. And Jarmola opted to not sacrifice the bishop just yet. Opted to not sacrifice the bishop. We have them here. And this has to be a draw. In fact, I mean, white needs to keep one pawn on the board. Look at that, I got some nice shirts yesterday. I was supposed to have them for I'm off camera. Supposed to have them for my trip to Slovenia for the European Team Championship, but got COVID, man, so I couldn't go. The shirts were already made, and it's nice to have good shirts, right? So yeah, this pawn is already outside of the what's it called? The Trotsky line, which, like I said, was one of my questions on the pub quiz yesterday. What is this? In what endgame is the Trotsky line relevant? And it's 2 knights against a pawn. So this b pawn is already too far advanced. So if white wins these pawns on d6 and f7, black just needs to sacrifice the bishop for the remaining pawn, and it is a draw. So I'm going to predict a draw here. Atiban drew. He looked like, I want to say almost completely winning. So he had this position here, which just looks horrible for white. And king g1, he should play knight f5, which he didn't. And he should introduce this knight immediately, which looks close to winning. Instead, he's still probably winning, and computer didn't like this one. Again, queen f5. No, actually it likes queen g2. The more it thinks, and on knight f5. So where did he go wrong? Is this really a draw? It says draw here, but that makes no sense. I mean, Adiban has plenty of time, 7 minutes. Probably they just placed the kings incorrectly, because rook e8 looks just came over, right? Rook g2 e8, king d3. Are you claiming to survive this? I'm saying no way. There's no way that white played rook f4, offered the draw, and Adiban accepted. So I think this is they placed the kings incorrectly, and I'm pretty sure that Adiban won this game. And I can actually check. Yeah, I'll send a message and let the technical guy check it out. says drawn, but that looks completely winning. Okay, so probably we'll get that fixed. Brilliant win by Simon, by the way, again. Abhijit Gupta, yeah, walked past this one. Actually quite an interesting endgame. Black has these D pawns here, but it's difficult to progress. And white has 2 connected pawns here. I think I would prefer the 2 connected pawns, you know, at a glance, but this is more far advanced, so looks dangerous as well. I'm not sure which one is better, actually. And I saw a result in the game, Julian Martin against Max Varmedam, and this was the final position, which is actually lost, but especially, yeah, we can't defend this A2 pawn, and Julian was trying to find a move, and he flagged. So good win for Max Varmedam. Mats Andersen won his game. Yeah, just unstoppable pawn. This might be coming. Incoming. Let's see if Erik Rosen is fighting on. He is probably not, because let's see what happened the last few moves. We got the rook g3, knight d3, rook e8, queen f3. I mean, rook e4 is coming. So it's killable. Já, Addi bara sendur jafntefli, en það lítur á haunni. Ha?
Ég veit að ég tjekka á því og ég skoðaði tölvuna og bara sagði mér þetta.
Ertu að segja mér að gæna hafi búið jafntefli?
Já, hrókur F4 er til spór og samþægt.
Wow.
Hello.
Wow, I'm being told that it was actually a draw in Adiban's game. So I said there was no way that white played rook f4 and offered a draw, and Adiban accepted, but apparently that's what happened. That's weird, very weird. Because he had like easy move, rook e8 check, and wow, that is very surprising. Anyway, what happened here in Erik's game? Rook e4. Why didn't he just take on h5? He played knight f4, okay. Queen into f5, and now he took, but that allows a queen trade here. And actually, that allows too many pieces to be traded off. We have to take with the pawn. Then he's probably gonna trade on h3 and take on d4, right? And we have a passed pawn. Can we defend this? Well, we can play knight f4 maybe at some stage. Try to get this pawn. Probably it's best to do it now. At least get a square, even though we lose this. But it is 2 pawns, so probably it's difficult. Unless we can maybe, I mean, if black is careless, let's say a bad move like this, king here. Maybe, you know, maybe we're building some kind of fortress. You know, we're covering some key squares. We'd have to get this pawn as well to b5 to get the fortress, but even then it's not a full fortress. Maybe king here. Yeah, if we got all these moves in, it would be a fortress, but that's very unlikely. So Erik probably going to lose. Let's see if Miss Anna Kramling managed to win her game. It looks like it after rook c2. Oh, black just took on c2. Maybe it's just that bad. Okay. The pawn structure is too damaged for black to survive this. He takes e6, good move. But that's too passive. Another good move. Because if the rook moves, the rook takes a7, maintaining the pin. So well played by Anna. And a Kremlin. So what we have remaining is this interesting endgame between Itani Puya and Lukas Jarmula. Well, interesting and not interesting. It's probably just a dead draw. This one is perhaps more interesting. Gupta against Sukandar. Now we have Björn Thorfarsson still playing. And he is probably losing. Why can't we take this pawn? Well, we can also go for this one and just take with the rook. And this should be fairly easily winning if we take the pawn, just rook takes. And this is gonna drop. Let's say here. Try to bother this pawn, but we can probably just push it and get going. And then rook takes b5, interpose, GG. Okay, he's probably gonna lose this one. Is Wigner holding on? Yeah, probably is. It's hard for white to make progress here. Can't move the f pawn because we take. He can move the king, but then we can start grabbing stuff like king here. We can start taking the f pawn. And yeah, this will liquidate to a draw. So nice defense by Wigner, but still a game probably he had to win to maintain good chances of the GM norm. And now in the last 4 rounds he really needs to rack up a lot of wins to get a norm. Back to Eric. Okay, he actually took with the rook, which makes sense. Why not keep the rook on? Yeah, because now we can start bothering some pawns. Yeah, it's probably less risky to do it like this. And by risky I mean allowing some drawing chances. Yeah, it was very well done indeed by Simon. Það bara þarna, skæði. Vamos. Það er lokað. Halló. Mappet fræðir þetta. Okay, let's see. Haven't looked at Casacorli. He is probably trying to win. You know, has the rook kind of in jail here. He's gonna fix this problem. Play either a6 or a5, a4. Probably a6 to keep it. And after we fix this pawn, we can start thinking about some penetration here. Tanya is playing against Louis Thibault, and she seems to be doing really well. Loka hurðinni. It's equal material, but yes, he's trying to take here, and then the bishop can maybe come to f4 at some stage. And the king is starting to feel the heat. Let's say we trade. What do we do about this? This looks fairly risky. And we can just grab this. I don't know really what we can do. Very passive. This knight, play bishop f2 maybe, but yeah, we can advance here. Check looks nice, this looks nice. Looks very difficult for white. So probably Tanya will be on a higher board tomorrow. Hilmir Freyr with a nice win. Moving up the ranks as well. And my friend Chris Rice lost this game. I met him outside and I asked him, how did you do? And he said, I came second, I guess. Which is a funny way to describe a loss. But yeah, he's getting mated here on the back rank. Nice last move by black here. Yeah, we might not be around for too long here. Things seem to be about to finish. Most of the top boards have already finished. Itani Puya is still playing against Lukas Jarmola, but looking very drawish. Although, yeah, he has to be careful maybe with the bishop where to put it. Okay, so this is board 1. On board 2, Alexander Fear and Gukesh drew pretty early on. Stingerson drew against Pragnananda. Tough defense, but he managed to hold on. And Hans Moke Niemann won relatively smoothly against Hjörvar, I must say. Brandon Clark Radiban with a very weird draw. Radiban agreed to a draw in basically a completely winning position. And then Simon with the game of the round. Exciting game where Simon crashed through at the end. And Gupta and Sukandar are still playing. Max won a nice game. Mats Hansen won. And Björn was still playing. Any news on the pizza? Till they come. Ole Pauls is rooting for Kassa. Yeah, Misra just sailing it home here, it seems. Sailing home the end game. Wigner's drawing. Erik Rosen is probably lost. He's down 2 pawns. His pieces are a little bit too passive for him to create counterplay. What is Masay doing? We haven't looked at him at all. He's probably doing nothing. How will white ever break through here? There's no entry for the king. Yeah, this looks like a draw. Or is it? Why did he play bishop here though? What happens after simply this? Maybe he gets some winning chances all of a sudden. Or here. Intending this. So couldn't she just have taken on b5? And how is white ever doing anything? The only chance is to maneuver the knight, and it takes 1, 2, 3, 4 moves to get here to attack this. Maybe she was worried about that. But on the other hand, can we counter it? It's 1, 2, 3, 4 moves, but it's black to move, right? 1, 2. Sorry, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here, it's black to move, yeah. Here, we get there in time, right? Or we don't. Here, 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 here. 9, 8, 4. Yeah, but now we can switch over to the other side and go here. Okay, so we couldn't do that, could we? Or was there something else? It's probably lost as well. Okay, so maybe some chances here actually then for Mase. It's trickier than I thought at first glance. Okay, what about Gupta? Yeah, it's a double rounder tomorrow, Kevin. We start at 9 Icelandic time. So right now it's 7 o'clock, so you can work out the time difference. It's 7 p.m. Jesus, so we're actually starting in 14 hours. That's not a lot of time. Dim the lights. That's actually fine. Fine-ish. Yeah, we have a commentary room next to us in Icelandic. And when they dim the lights there, they actually dim the lights here, so we're a little bit in the dark, but it's just cozy. Very cozy. Okay, port 1 is still going, but don't think, well, they turned off all the lights. Yeah, okay. Well, Itani is still trying. There's no mating net. Do we want to push this pawn? I don't know. Probably want to keep it because we don't want this pawn to be blockaded if we are losing stuff. Somebody's asking extra time on move 40. Yes, indeed. They get 30 minutes on move 40. Ay, ay, ay. Oh, okay, they're still playing, yeah. I need a quick break, really quick break. We'll be right back.
The purest tasting water on Earth, born from untouched lands, naturally filtered through ancient lava rock. You are what you drink. Be a force of nature. Icelandic glacial. The purest tasting water on Earth, born from untouched lands, naturally filtered through ancient lava.
Now they're practicing for some concert, or the concert is already happening. They're playing Aerosmith, don't want to miss a thing. and I don't wanna mess around. Okay, again, this looks super drawish. Abhijit looks to have things under control because the rook is blocking the king away from supporting the pawns. And this is starting to run pretty fast as well. So I don't think we have time for, okay, let's say here, we don't have time for counterplay. Might just be able to play a7 here, and now this bishop is too far away. So it seems pretty clear on all the tables that are left what's going to happen. It looks like to me like board 1 will be a draw. I think Abhijit is probably winning now. Thorfinnsson will lose against Abhimanyu Misra. Take a quick look at that. He just has a king supporting the passed pawn, and the rook taking care of this one, so that should not be a problem. Vignir should be drawing as well, unless he's trying to win somehow. Maybe, let's see if Johan made progress, sought the exchange. But still not easy. I mean, the rooks are rather passive. But I guess he's set up for some b4 break at some stage. Christopher Yu won his game. Sebastian Masse is actually looking good, because he can put pressure on the pawn here. The king has to stay close because otherwise this is coming. And then I think we can just penetrate with the king, right? This must be just completely winning. Completely winning, it seems. So this means that, well, Niemann moves to, no, hang on a minute. He lost yesterday, so he has only 3. So who had 3.5? Who had 3.5? So Lucas, Jarmola had 4. Gukesh, Stengrimsson, Puya, Pragnaland, Fear, and Cyril Shigamani, along with Hjörvar, had 3.5. So Niemann was the top dog with 3 points. And Shigamani is in a lower group, so that's why he's not playing higher. It's the accelerated pairing system. So this means that, yeah, Hans moves to 4, but nobody's winning of the guys that had 3.5, so Jarmola will keep the lead. Simon moves up a bit. He's now on, where's Simon? Can't see Simon here. Yeah, he's now on 4 as well. So good win for Simon. Moves to, yeah, 4 points, same as Hans Niemann. Yeah, actually completely winning the position we have here for Marseille. I guess we'll just leave the top board on until they finish. But I think it's pretty clear in all these games what the result will be, so we'll probably wrap it up right now, but leave the game and then call it a day. So tomorrow is a double round, so we start at 9 AM Icelandic time, which is pretty devastating. Yeah, the round starts at 9. Maybe we start like 10:30, 11 the commentary. So I'll see you tomorrow then. Thanks for tuning in. Bye bye.